Namaste everyone, welcome back to CodeCraft with Poonam. I am your coding mentor Poonam Agrawal. In the last video, we have added DTOs and validation to make our API safe and clean, right? So today we are going to make our API smarter and faster by adding pagination and sorting. Okay, right now our get API recipes, that is our endpoint, returns all the recipes at once, right? So that works fine when we have 5 or 10 recipes. But what if we had 10,000 recipes in the database? So sending all 10,000 records in one response would slow down the server, waste bandwidth, crash the client browser or mobile app, right? So pagination is the solution for this, okay? So here pagination solves this and sorting makes the results useful and organized. So for your better understanding, think of a restaurant menu, okay, that has 200 dishes. Instead of handing you a 50-page booklet, the waiter gives you page 1 starters. Okay, you ask for page 2 main course. You can also say sort by price, lowest first. Okay, so that is exactly what pagination and sorting does for your API. Okay, so you can say that pagination is just like give me result in pages, not all at once. Okay, and you can say sorting like give me results in a specific order. Got it? So in this video, we are going to learn what pagination is and why it matters, what sorting is and how it helps clients. Also, how Spring Boot's Pageable works out of the box, and how to use this page as your response type, and how to pass page, site, sort as a query parameters. Okay. And also we will learn how the response structure changes when pagination is added. Okay. So here I am going to continue our same example. Okay. That is our recipe service. So now first we will see the problem with returning everything like we used to do in our earlier videos. Okay. So what we used to do, our endpoint was our base URL slash recipes, right? And we used get method, which is used to return all the recipes which is present, okay, in a JSON format, right? So due to this, what the problem arises is, so the problem arises is unbounded query. So here we are going to address unbounded query, okay. So here, what is unbounded query? Unbounded query is nothing but where we have a performance risk due to large response. Okay, so in a real production app, this is a serious performance risk. Okay, so for this, the solution is pagination and sorting. Okay, so to avoid this unbounded query, we are going to implement pagination and then we are going to sort. Okay, so this will return us paginated query. So here, so if you implement this pagination, then it will limit the number of recipes returned. Okay, and then after implementing, we are going to add sorting. So this will help us organize recipes by a specific field. Okay, and then this because of this pagination and sorting, we will get a paginated query. Okay, so this improves the performance and user experience. Okay, so now coming to pagination. Okay, so first of all, what is pagination? So here pagination breaks the results into fixed size pages. So for example, consider you have a some 10,000 recipes in your database. Okay, so due to this pagination, what will happen? Instead of all the 10,000 recipes, you get like page numbers, right? In page 0, you have recipes that is 1 to 10. Okay, and you have another page that is page 1 where you have all the recipes which starting from 11 to 20. Okay, so that means in each page you have 10 recipes. Okay, just like your books, right? You have page numbers and you have limited content within that page, right? So here the client decides which page they want. Okay, so for example, if they want some page number 1, so then they will give this page is equal to 1. Okay, and and also this client decides how many results per page should be there. So for example, as I told you that in each page we are going to have 10 recipes, right? So for that we are going to mention size, that is equal to 10. So I will show you all this in our example, okay, when we have a code walkthrough. Okay, so for the pagination process, we have client request page, and then client specifies page number, and then client specifies results per page, and then server processes request, and then server divides results, and then server sends paginated results. Okay, so as I told you, when client request page, the client initiates a request for a specific page of results. Okay, and then here client specifies page number, as I given you example, some page is equal to 1. Okay, so here the client indicates the desired page number in the request, and then after that next step is client specifies results per page. Okay, for example, I have told you that 10 recipes per page, right? So here the client sets the number of results to display on each page. Okay, and then server processes this request. Okay, so here the server retrieves the requested data based on the client specification, and then based on this fourth step, server divides results. Okay, so here the server divides the retrieved data into fixed size pages, and then server sends paginated results. So here what the server will do is the server sends the paginated results back to the client. Okay, now next is sorting. Okay, so first of all, what is sorting? So here sorting controls the order of results in each page. So for example, you want to sort by name, okay, name of a recipe. Okay, so that is from A to Z. Okay, so here what you will do is you will provide sort equal to name and the order like ascending or descending. Okay, and if you want to sort by time, cook time. Okay, so like which is the fastest first. So for that for that what you will do is you will use sort equal to cook time minutes, what the field is given. Okay, that field. Okay, and in which order you want, ascending, descending. Okay, and also you can sort by newest added ones. Okay, so for that what you will do, same thing, you will use sort equal to, but here you need to mention the id, ascending or descending. Okay, so don't worry, I will explain you all this in our code. Okay, so just for your understanding, I'm roughly explaining this. Okay, so here without sorting the order is unpredictable. So with sorting your client always gets results in a consistent and useful order. Okay, so now let's see the sorting process. Okay, so first is user initiates sorting, and then sorting parameters are sent, then server sorts data, and then sorted data is returned. Client displays sorted data. Okay, so here first step, that is user initiates sorting. So here user requests to sort data, and then sorting parameters sent. So here what it will happen is sorting parameters are sent to the server, and then based on this server sorts data. So here server sorts data based on the parameters. Okay, and then sorted data is returned to the client, and then here client displays sorted data. So client displays data in a consistent order. Now coming to Spring Boot support for pagination and sorting. So now let's see how Spring Boot support this pagination and sorting. Okay, so Spring Boot has built-in support for pagination and sorting through Pageable interface, page response type, pagination and sorting repositories. Okay, so we will see this one by one. So now coming to this Pageable interface. So here what this Pageable interface is used for. So here Spring automatically reads page size and sort from the request URL. Okay, so you don't write any parsing code yourself here. Just add Pageable as a method parameter. That's it. Okay, and then coming to this page type, that is our response type. Okay, So here it wraps your results with extra metadata. Metadata is nothing but data about data. Okay. And it tells the client the total records, total pages, current page, page size. Okay. And then coming to this paging and sorting repository. So here this paging and sorting repository is included in JPR repository where there is no extra dependency. Okay. Next, coming to paginated response structure. So how the response is. Okay. So here the client makes request and the server processes that request. And then based on that, server sends the response and client receives this response. Okay. And then client displays content and client navigates it. So here first step is client makes request. When client makes request, what will happen is here the client sends a get request with pagination parameters. Okay, and then the server processes the request. So here the server retrieves the requested data and applies pagination. Okay, and then server sends response. So here the server returns a structured JSON response and then client receives response. So here the client receives the JSON response. Okay, and then client displays content. The client displays the recipes in the content array. Okay, so here the content array is nothing but it holds the actual recipes. So here the other fields give the client everything it needs to build a next or previous buttons. Okay, so for a page you need to have next, previous button, right? Along with the page numbers, right? And then client navigates. The client uses pagination fields to navigate, right? That is next or previous button. Okay. So now here we have a request flow, okay, for our example. So here you can see that first when client calls, okay, that is through get method. Okay, so here we have this base URL, okay. This is our get method, API/recipes. Here you can see that I have used this question mark and I have mentioned paged. And then I have mentioned here page is equal to 0. Okay, so here client needs page 0 and size is 5. Here size here the client is providing this size is equal to 5. Okay, that means per page client needs 5 recipes. Okay, and also here used to sort, that is equal to name. Here the client is sorting based on name in ascending order. Okay, comma ASC. So here what we are doing, so here what is happening is client request paginated and sorted recipes. Okay, and then after this Spring reads the parameters. Okay, so here Spring builds pageable object for you. That is, Spring automatically parses query parameters into a pageable object. What are the parameters is passed? The Spring will automatically parse query parameters into a pageable object. Okay, and then here controller passes pageable. Okay, so here controller passes pageable to whom? To service layer. So here controller forwards the pageable object to the service layer, and then service layer passes this pageable. So here service passes pageable to whom? To repository layer. Okay, so service passes the pageable object to the repository layer. Okay, and then repository executes SQL. So here repository runs select statements, okay, with limit and order by. So repository executes here all your SQL query with limit and order by clauses. Okay, why? Because here we are mentioning this, right? Page is equal to 0, size is equal to 5, and sorting based on the name and ascending order. Okay, and then what will happen is results are wrapped in page. So here results wrapped in page recipe. Okay, so recipe type. So your repository wraps the SQL result in a page recipe object. Okay, and then controller returns paged response. So here the controller returns custom paged response DTO. So controller returns a custom page response DTO to whom? To client. Okay, so this is the flow. And coming to key concepts which you need to remember is, that is pageable. What it does, it carries page, size and sort information. Okay. and then here coming to page. Okay, here T, nothing but type. So what it does is it wraps results and adds metadata. And then when you use this with the URL, this question mark page is equal to 0, that means here that means this is the first page which is 0 indexed. Okay, and when you mention with the URL that is and when you mention this with your base URL, that is question mark size is equal to 10, here that means 10 results per page. Okay, if you give 5 then 5, if you give 2 then 2. Okay, and then if you use this sort, this one, and if you use question mark sort, it's equal to name comma ASC, that is nothing but ascending, sorting based on name in ascending order. So if you provide this with your base URL, then this will sort by name, that is A to Z. Okay, and then page to response. So here what it does is our custom DTO will return the clean response. Okay, so what we can say that with pagination and sorting, our API becomes faster, scalable, professional, client friendly. Okay, so why it is faster? Why? Because now the database queries are smaller. Okay, and it is scalable. Why? Because it works with 10 records or 10 million. Okay, that's why it is scalable. And then it is professional. Why? Because it matches how real world APIs behave. And it is a client friendly. Why? Because apps can build pages, infinite scroll and filters, right? So now we will have a code walkthrough, okay, where we will add our pagination step by step. Okay. So here you can see I'm using our same example recipe service. Okay, here is our recipe service folder where we have our Java. Okay, this is recipe service, controller, DTO, exception, model, repository service. Okay, and our data.sql in resources. Okay, so now here you can see that I have added DTO folder in our recipe service. Okay, here in DTO I have a Java files, that is page to response.java and recipe request.java. Okay, so these two things I have added. Okay, rest of it is same. Okay, we had controller layer, exception layer, right? And this model layer, repository layer, this is our service layer. Okay, so here in this video I have added this DTO folder where we have this page response.java file and recipe request.java file. Okay, so here I have added pagination and sorting to our Spring Boot recipe API. So here our endpoint, that is recipes, right? It will accept page, site, sort as query parameters, and it will return results in pages instead of all at once. Okay. And here we are going to include metadata like total pages and total elements. And then we are going to sort results by any field the client wants. So here there is no new dependencies needed. Okay, Spring Boot already has everything built in. Okay. So here I have done few changes. Okay. So first let's see page to response DTO. Okay. So here in DTO we have page response. Okay, this one. So here you can see that this is our class page to response. Okay. So here you have fields, content, list of content. So here this is page number. Okay. So this is page size field, total elements, total pages. This one last. Okay. So this is our constructor and our getter. So here what will happen is this DTO wraps our results and adds pagination metadata. Okay, so here why we are using custom DTO. Why? Because Spring's page object has many internal fields that look messy in JSON. Here this our custom DTO, that is page to response class, gives the client only what it is needed. So it is clean and readable. Okay. So next coming to this repository, here I have done some changes. Okay. So here what I'm doing is I'm updating this repository. Okay. So here I'm going to, so here I have added this paginator version. Okay. That is here page recipe, find all pageable. Okay. So here now I'm going to import this page and pageable. Okay. So here this one. Okay, and then this one, Pageable. Okay, so here I have added this one, import statements. Okay, so the only thing I have changed here in our repository is I have added this pagination version. Okay, that is page recipe find all pageable. Now what will happen is here we have used find all, right? So here now this find all accepts a pageable argument and its return type is now page recipe. Okay, so instead of list of recipes, here we will get page recipe. Okay, so here Spring Data JPA handles the SQL. Okay, that is it uses limit, offset and order by automatically. Okay, so you no need to provide it externally. And then now what we are going to do is we will update our recipe service. Okay, so go to the service here, our recipe service.java. So here, okay, so here I have already added this public page to response recipes. Okay, get all recipes, pageable. Here you can see page, which is of recipe, right? So page is equal to recipe repository dot find all pageable. Okay, so here it will return the page to response, all that content, number, size, total elements, total pages, whether page is last. Okay, so this is the new thing I have added here in our recipe service. Okay, rest of it is same. You can see all these things, all the methods, everything is same here. And also here I have added here, and also here you can see that I have added this private recipe to entity method. Okay, that is our recipe request. So here I have created this object, recipe object. Okay, and then I have set the name, category, preparation time, cook time, servings, vegetarian, description, instruction, ingredients, and then returning this recipe. Okay, so here I have updated this get all recipes method to accept pageable and return page response recipe. Okay, so due to this, what will happen is here our recipe repository dot find all, that is pageable. Okay, it runs a page to database query. Okay, and this our page recipe holds the results and metadata. Okay, so here we extract both and pass them into our clean page to response DTO. Okay, and now we will update our recipe controller. So in our controller layer, what we are going to do is we will update get all recipes endpoint to accept pageable from query parameters. Okay, so now coming to our controller, recipe controller. So here you can see that I have updated this, our recipe controller. Okay, here you can see this one at the get mapping. So public response entity, see this one. I have replaced the older version with this paged one. So paged response, here recipe get all recipes. Okay, so before we didn't have this paged response for the get all recipes. I have updated this method. Okay, so here what will happen, here we have used this annotation that is at the pageable default. Here we are providing the size, sort based on which type, that is name, direction, that is ascending or descending. Okay, and then this is pageable. Okay, and then what we are doing, we are returning the response. Okay, that is here recipe service dot get all recipes pageable. Okay, and then we are returning the response. Okay, so here, what this at the rate pageable default does. So here it sets the sensible defaults if the client does not send page, size or sort. Okay. So here, for example, I have given us page is 0 and 5 page number is 0 and 5 results per page and sort based on the name, that is A to Z. So here the client can override all of this with query parameters. Okay. So here what does the Spring do? So here Spring automatically reads when you provide in the URL. Okay, with your base URL, that is question mark page number and size. Okay, and sort which you are sorting by which type. Okay, so from that URL it converts into a pageable object and there is no manual passing needed. Okay, So I will explain you while I will run this code. Okay. And we will test this in our Postman. So for that, what we need to do is we need to start the app. Okay. Okay. So this is the only changes I have done. Okay. And then here you can see that recipe request.java, this file. Here we have this public class recipe request at the rate not blank. It should not be blank. Recipe name is required. Okay. So this one already we had in our previous session, right? Recipe request. That's why I'm not explaining this again here. Okay. So here in detail, I have added only this page response.java in this session. Okay. And then I have updated our repository. So here I have updated so here what I have done, I have added just this line, that is page find all. Okay, so this is our pagination version to find all. Okay, so and then I have updated the service layer. Here I have updated this get all recipes with paginated version. Okay, here paged response. And then I have updated this our recipe controller for get all recipes. Okay, here the response entity is of type paged response. Okay, so rest of the things are same. Okay, so now let's go to our main application. So here recipe service application.java. Okay, so now we will run our application. Okay, so this is our main method right here. So click on run. So now our application will get started. Okay. So here you can see our recipe service application got started. Okay. So now we will test our endpoint. Okay. In our Postman. So for that, so now get method. Okay. So here we are going to give our URL localhost. It's running in 8080 port, right? Our server /API/recipes. Okay, this is our URL, right? Now, when you click on send, see here. Here you got this content, ID2 chicken biryani, okay? And then here ID3 gulab jamun, ID1 paneer butter masala, okay? So here this is our default pagination. Okay, so here you can notice that results are sorted by name. Okay, by default. Here we have not done anything. Here you can see that page number 0, page size 5, total elements 3, total pages 1, last true. Okay, so here this is what we got. Okay, by default. So here now what I am going to do is I am going to change this by recipes question mark. So page number I am going to give as page is equal to 1 and size as 5. Okay. When you click on send here, see here. What you got? Content, nothing. We have nothing in page 1. Okay. That is page number 1. Page size is 5. Total elements is 3. Total pages 1. Last is true. So here this last true means it tells the client that there are no more pages. Okay. So in page number we have no content, right? So for example, now we will change this 1 to 0, okay? And we will provide some size as 3, okay? So now when you click on send, see here in page 0, okay, we have this recipes, okay? That is chicken biryani, gulab jamun, okay, paneer butter masala. So here I have provided size is equal to 3, okay? So here you got 3 recipes. This is our first recipe, this is second, okay? And next here, this is third. Okay, so per page you got 3 recipes here. Okay, so here you can see that page number 0, page size 3, total elements 3, total pages 1, last true. So now let's test our API by sorting by cook time. Okay, so fastest first one. So here I am going to change this one. So now this example was for page and size, right? So now we will see an example for sort. So now here you can see that recipe question mark sort is equal to cook time minutes, comma, ascending order. Okay. So now when you click on send, now you can see here we are sorting based on time in ascending order. So here you can see that in content we have recipes, that is ID3 gulab jamun. How much cook time? It takes 20 minutes. Okay. And then here this is our paneer butter masala. Here cook time is 25 minutes. Here you can notice we have mentioned ascending order, right? Sorting based on cook time minutes. So here you can see that cook time minutes is 20 for gulab jamun. Next we got this paneer butter masala recipe where it takes cook time 25 minutes. Okay. And then here you can see that we got this chicken biryani. For that it takes cook time is 45 minutes. Okay, so it is in ascending order, right? 20 minutes cook time, 25 minutes cook time, this is 45 minutes cook time. Okay, so here it returns recipes sorted from the quickest to slowest. Okay, so now here now we'll see an example to sort by name, that is in reverse order, that is Z to A. Okay, so now so what I will do is here sort is equal to name. Okay, and here descending. So here descending. Okay, now click on send. So now here you can see that we have name paneer butter masala. Okay, here we are sorting based on name in descending order, that is Z to A. So first we got here paneer butter masala P. Okay, and then here you can see G gulab jamun. Okay, and then name chicken biryani C. Okay, so in reverse order we got this. Okay, so here it written the recipes in reverse alphabetical order. Okay, so now what we will do is now we will combine page, size, sort. So here we have tested our endpoint for the page and for the sort separately, right? So now we are going to combine it. Okay, that is page, size, and sort. So here now I am going to replace this with page size and sort. Okay. So here you can see that this is our base URL, right? /API/recipes. So question mark page is equal to 0 and size I am providing 3 and sort is equal to cook time minutes in ascending order. Okay, so now when you go and click on send, here you can see that this is ascending order, right? That is cook time minutes. So here per page in 0 page, okay, in page number 0 we will have 3 recipes. Okay, and we have sorted by time, okay, in ascending order. So here you can see that here is our cook time 20 minutes. Okay, and here cook time is 25 minutes and here cook time is 45 minutes. Okay, ascending order, and we got 3 recipes, that is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, and this we got in page number 0. Okay, this is page number 0, 3 recipes sorted based on time in ascending order. Okay, so this is a real world API call. Got it? So here what is happening behind the scene is when you uh, when you when you give this URL, okay, for the get method, and then when you click the send, so what will happen behind the scene is, so here that request goes to the recipe controller. Okay, and then there it receives the pageable, which is built automatically by Spring, right? And then control goes to the recipe service. From there what it will do is it will call recipe repository. We have given this find all method, right, where we have given pageable. So then through recipe service it will call the recipe repository find all method. Okay, that is Pageable. And then this recipe repository layer is called, right? So here in recipe repository, it runs the SQL. So here it runs the SQL statements, that is our select star from recipe order by name. So here we have given ascending, right? And we have given as 3. So it will take as limit 3, offset 0, that is our page number 0. Okay. So here you no need to give this select statement, right? Internally, it will run this query, and then this will return the page recipe with content and metadata. And then this is returned to our service, which wraps it in a page to response. Okay. And then from there, the controller returns 200 OK with page to response in a JSON format. Got it? So here you can see that the status 200 OK, right? And you got in JSON format, right? So behind this, when you click this send, and what are the output you are seeing? Behind this, all that process is happening. Okay. So this is for today's session. If you liked my video, then do let me know through comment and hit the like button. And share it with your circle so that it will be helpful to them. And do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss any of my videos. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. This is Poonam Agrawal from CodeCraft with Poonam signing off.